Yay, we're here. So, I just thought of like Texas plays Florida this year, and everyone's like, oh, Florida. And I'm like, relax, Texas fans, like, relax. So I'm super excited to have you here. Super excited to talk to you. Being in the SEC longer than Texas has, I love when I get to talk to anybody in SEC. So thank you for being here. For those of you, this might be your first episode. This is my top 25 of college football teams. I decided to talk to people of each team instead of having like a type up or some beautiful graphic. I'm like, let me just have these conversations. So thank you so much for joining me. And then for those of people that don't know, I am going to release this by order of how I rank teams. So, we'll go August 1st will be top number 25, and then August 2nd will be 24, and then so forth and so on. So I will stop talking. I will let you introduce yourself, and then we'll just start talking all about the Florida Gators.
Love that. Yeah, great idea. And so we'll be released on August 31st based on those metrics there. Florida will be.
Well, if you're released August 31st, so that's game day. So if you want to be around the 20th.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Bad math there. That's a Florida boy.
No worries.
But I'm Sheldon Walker with High Top Sports. I've been following the Florida Gators. I mean, following the Florida Gators forever, but doing it for a podcast for I think 4 years we just passed in June. So love it. Super excited. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. How long have you been like a Florida fan? Were you born into it? Like, how did you get into specifically the Florida Gators?
Yeah, just born into it. Grandpa's a big Gator. He actually moved here from Connecticut. He went to UConn, and his story is kind of cool. Why he fell in love with Florida. Just the fan base was infectious, and families lived there. Uncles went there. So yeah, just kind of born into it. Didn't have a choice.
I love that. And so how are you all feeling right now? I feel like you all are similar to Texas in a way where it's like, for so long you were good. You had your run, right? You had your Tebow and you had like the run, and then you kind of didn't. And now you're kind of on the path back. Is that how you feel as a fan base, or what does it feel like to be a Gator right now?
I would say it's pretty electric. I mean, coming off a basketball national championship, you're getting kind of that aura from the early 2000s when we won 2 basketball and 2 football. So we like to say history repeats itself. And then we've got obviously a rising quarterback in DJ Lagway that resembles Tim Tebow as well. So there's a lot of nostalgia in Gainesville right now. And we're really, it's pumped. I'm excited to go into the season. The expectations are through the roof for Florida and for Napier in his 4th year. And so I'm hoping for a masterful year for sure.
Yeah. So what are those expectations? I think you go from having a coach that everybody says is going to be fired to the coach figuring it out and not being fired, to, I think, landing a very great recruiting class, and then transfer report. Like, I feel like it's just moving. Like I said, I feel like Texas did the similar thing where at some point the train just kind of starts moving in the right direction. What are your expectations just this year? Like, what are you hoping for?
Well, you guys are landing everybody. So I don't know if we can sit on the same level as Texas throwing right now. They're just backing up the brink truck and locking everybody down. But yeah, Florida is definitely capitalizing on momentum, to say the least. And the expectation for this year for all Florida fans is playoffs. And I just think that it's open up for grabs, in my opinion. Georgia, I think, takes a step back. Obviously, it's SEC Media Week. They're bringing it back, I think, about 47% of retention from what production they had last year. Ole Miss is going to take a step back. They're bringing back very little. Tennessee is another one. They're bringing back 6-7% of their production on defense, but only 47% on offense, including nobody who's playing quarterback. So when you look at those things, Florida is in a really good spot. The 2 big games that I have circled, which I know we'll get into later on, are LSU and Texas. I think those are going to be the big games, and the other 2 teams that are really well positioned right now to take over the SEC.
Yeah, I love that. A non-Texas fan saying Texas is positioned to take over the SEC. That's gold.
I mean, look, you can't look at that team and just. I mean, they're stacked on every which way with Colin Simmons coming off the edge. Quinn Ewers fantastic. That running back room is phenomenal. The quarterback,
Arch Manning. You said Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, sorry, Arch Manning. I'm excited for him, man. I think he's got a lot of expectations, but he's handled it so well. It's hard to hate him. I think when you see somebody that's not on your team getting talked about a lot, like DJ Lagway gets such an organic hate because that's all you hear about. It's like people almost wanting him to fail. The way that Arch has just been carrying himself and navigating this it's really cool to see just someone that young be so poised. So yeah, I don't want Texas to do well, but I'm a fan. I'm a player guy. I like to see guys do well.
Ooh, okay. So tell me about the strengths of this Florida team. Like when you look at your team, where are you kind of like, okay, if all else kind of goes south, we have this one thing here? What would that be for you?
Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. Don't forget to make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. And if you think about it, turn on those notification bells. And maybe if you want to make me really happy, leave me a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think about this video.
Yeah, I think that's what excites me the most too, is that it's the trenches. The offensive line is returning the best center in college football, and Jake Slaughter. That's not me just saying that. That's a fact to look it up. He's one of the highest recruits,
isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's not me just making stuff up. You're bringing back Austin Barber, left tackle, his 5th year, 3rd-year starter, Najee Harris at left guard, Damian George at right guard, who was an Alabama commit at one point. He's really good, kind of found his positioning. Right tackle is the only thing kind of unknown, but you've got a 3-year guy in Bryce Levitt that's ready to make his mark. So the offensive line is the best it's ever been, on top of some really good depth behind it. And then the other side of the ball, you've got 2 guys that are projected to go top 25, one being top 5 in Tyreek Sapp in the NFL draft next year with Caleb Banks, Tyreek Sapp. George Gums was electric. So trenches, you hear all the time, that's where you win football games. Yeah. And the fact that that's the 2 strongest parts, Cole Kublik ranked both of the lines in the top 5 for the SEC. That should excite a lot of people, especially with a young quarterback. If you're able to keep things kind of in between the hash marks and not allow, you're stopping the run on the side of the ball. You're allowing your talented young secondary to do its work. The linebacker room, I believe, is going to be one of the best in the SEC. LSU's got another great linebacker room. Texas has another good one, but there's with Miles Graham, Aaron Childs, and Pup Howard and Jade Robinson, those guys are absolute dudes. And I think that's where the strength is in the trenches, and I'm super pumped for those guys.
I love that. What do you think the weakness would be then this year? What is the one position where you're kind of like, all right, guys, let's kind of chug this along. We can do this.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, the big talk would be the cornerbacks, the secondary, right? Because of the youth, and it's not lack of talent. I think the upside there is tremendous with Hilton Stubbs, Lagonza Hayward, Devin Moore. I mean, when he can stay healthy, the kid's incredible. But that's just it. Can he stay healthy? Kermani McLean's coming into his junior year. Once a 5-star cornerback, that kid. I mean, when we saw him hit the field last year, was electric. And if he can be what he was expected to be, what I'm saying is out the window, right? I think Sharif Denton's going into his 3rd year alongside Aaron Gates and Bryce Thornton. That nickel cornerback room was electric last year. We're losing. We lost Traquez Bridges, who was a big impact player, but the youth is there. The talent's there. It's just there is no big kind of leader. We had Jason Marshall last year, Traquez Bridges, some other guys kind of, facilitating those things. But it's time for the guys that are there to step up. Like that's just what it is. Jordan Castell going to his 3rd year. He was phenomenal his freshman year. Kind of took a little bit of a sophomore slump, but played a ton last year. So that's a factor. So it's a weakness, but I don't think it's
doesn't
not
like for talent. Yes, it doesn't like for talent, sounds like. It just has to click. It sounds like it has to work.
It's only unproven out of all the groups, right? It's the I would say the least amount of snaps, more than likely, of all the groups. Linebacker probably has least snaps, but we saw Miles Graham. We know Pup Howard and Jade Robinson, those 2 guys. There's core guys that are there still. You know what I mean?
Okay. So yeah. Do you subscribe to the Texas, Florida could have beat Georgia last year if Lagway doesn't get hurt?
Yeah, I'm all in on that.
Okay.
I'm all in on that.
I just, you know how there's certain things that like determine what kind of fan you are? That's one of them. It's like, okay, what kind of, are you the Florida fan that's like, yes, they should have. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm the Disney Gator. I get hit with that all the time. But look, I think we've watched enough Florida, Georgia in the past couple of years to where you have a vibe. You know what it's supposed to feel like. And something was clicking. It just felt like good. Yeah, you felt the momentum in the stadium. It was like everyone was like, we got a chance. We looked similar. We were going toe to toe with them. Carson Beck was struggling. Everything was going right. And DJ Lagway was just getting really started. I mean, he hadn't really especially here's where it makes it worse. Why we feel this way, because look what he did after the fact. The guy didn't lose. Yeah. So and played in big time games and big time moments and did exactly what I think he would have done at the Florida Georgia.
Okay. Yeah. Will you guys get a chance to have that Carson Beck game kind of back and beat him for a different team? So let's talk about like what game are you looking forward to the most this year? Like what other games, or like what's the game? I know that you mentioned you circled Texas, and who else did you say?
LSU.
Texas and LSU. Okay. Is there anybody else that you're thinking about, like that you're just kind of curious to see like how you match up against them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's great about playing in the SEC is that every week is exciting, right?
Yeah.
The Miami one, I know a lot of our fan bases, we on Twitter get into it with that fan base a lot. Yeah, and it's a tough one because we only play them so often, right? So this will kind of be whoever wins this one gets the next 4 years of talking, and
Okay.
that's big. That's big. Florida Georgia's every year. Like it's that one. That one to me is our true rival. It's not FSU. It's Georgia. So that already
Okay.
has kind of its own little oomph behind it. But Texas, I think the Arch and DJ Lagway argument really ramped things up. But here recently, with them taking a lot of our top targets, they just landed or flipped 5-star lineman James
This is
Johnson.
Texas Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
As of recording, this is Texas Day.
Tyler Atkins too. Like you guys are crushing it. It's like it's starting to create a little bit of a rivalry, which is great. So I really think that game is going to have some implications on how the recruiting could end up for Florida flipping some guys,
Ooh,
or
okay.
if Texas handling some guys. So that game is, and again, of course, the DJ versus Arch. It could be, if Florida can figure things out, a preview to later on in the year too. So I think that game is really ramping up to be more important than, let's say, the LSU one. Because let's say you drop the let's just play devil's advocate. Florida drops the LSU one. The Texas one then becomes must win at that point. You don't want to lose back-to-back of those big-time games, especially at home. So I think either way, that game is going to be monumental. But if you lose any of the games leading up to it, it's going to get even bigger for Florida and for Napier and for everybody involved.
Because it becomes a must-win.
Yeah, I think the Tennessee game kind of loses a little bit of luster. FSU doesn't feel very sexy as it normally does just because of the trouble. I mean, it's still going to be a great game. Don't get it twisted. But this season for the Gators, I think, is one of the first 6-7 games, because Georgia's week 6 or week 7, I believe. It's usually right in the middle. And we play from there by the week 6, we'll have played LSU, Texas, Miami, and Georgia.
That's scheduled.
So you can tell you're gonna get a pretty good picture of where things are at and how things are trending. Look, I think Florida can lose 3 games and get into the playoffs. And
I've been saying that there might be a 9-3, 10-2 problem, because if Florida is 9-3, even Oklahoma, if they manage to go 9-3 and Florida managed to go 9-3, how do you bump them for like a 10-2 Big 12 team? Because the teams they will have beaten to get there. So
yeah, I don't see a 10-2 getting over a 9-3 SEC team, especially like a team like Florida, whose schedule is a gauntlet. It's been known. Oklahoma's is pretty solid too. So
yeah, okay.
I know that we lost Ole Miss and South Carolina didn't make it last year, but that was to a 10-2 SMU and a 10-2 Clemson. But Clemson won the ACC at the right time, so there was it was a little different in my opinion for those two teams, because you can't take SMU. SMU was already in the top 12 when they went to the championship game. They were technically already in. Clemson was playing to get in. Clemson did their job and won to get in. That's why one of those 9-3s got booted. If not, a 9-3 SEC team gets in. So I don't see the same thing happening with the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is going to be.
I think they're in trouble.
I think there's going to be a lot of parity. I think top to bottom, and they talked about it all week at their media week, and I kind of agree with them. They're solid all the way through. They don't have any heavy hitters, and they acknowledge that. Like they don't have a Bama, a Georgia, and an LSU. But top to bottom, it's a fun conference. I love watching Big 12 games.
Yeah. Okay. And then you mentioned your rival being Georgia. Is that a total floor? Does everybody think that your rival is Georgia? Do you think the rival is Georgia? And then if I ask somebody else, they would say that the rival is Georgia?
I think if they're a true fan, they'll say Georgia. I know that people have their own bitterness with LSU, and I think there's a couple of and FSU's obviously one, but it's Georgia. Like you've seen
that's the answer.
F Georgia. Yeah, like it's like it.
Okay.
Yeah, like again, Florida. Tennessee's a rival too, but if you had to tell me, like, hey, who do you want to beat? It's Georgia and FSU 1-2.
Okay. So the next question is like, who's if this for some reason this goes off the rails, right? And it's kind of one of those seasons, and you're like, I don't know what happened or how this got where it's at, but we at least beat those guys. Who would that be for you?
Yeah, it had to be Georgia. If just one or a couple, how many wins do I get?
I don't know. Well, who else do you have in mind?
It's the whole schedule. LSU's had our number, but we beat them last year, so that wouldn't really bother me too much. Georgia would be like, if we have a really bad year, then I would love to just be able to Miami, Georgia. Yeah, Miami for sure because of the bragging rights. Georgia to say like, hey, like we even though we suck, we still beat you. And then Florida State, we got to keep them little bro. Everyone else has kind of been back and forth. It's like Kentucky, like I mean, we lost that streak already. Tennessee, we're kind of back and forth with them. So there's bad blood, but not like those three schools that I just mentioned.
I love this. Okay. It's so funny because as Texas is entering into the SEC, I'm kind of learning too about like the different teams and their rivals and things like that. I'm learning so many things. You'd be surprised where I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think about that. So I think, is it Tennessee that hasn't won in Florida in a long time? Is it Tennessee? There's somebody that hasn't won. Is it Tennessee?
At Florida, yeah. I don't think we've lost there we've lost there a couple of times, but I don't think they've beaten us at Florida in quite some time.
Yeah, there's like some weird like again, it's like that random thing that you just learn and you're like, oh, okay. I would have never guessed that Florida and Georgia were rivals at all. Like that just wouldn't have crossed my mind. So
yeah, I mean we have our own week. It's just the Florida Georgia week, but it's here to Oklahoma and Texas. Like you guys go to a neutral site to play this thing and have a big fair. That's Florida Georgia. It's hosted in Jacksonville. People get there on Tuesday in their campers and party all week. It's called the world's largest cocktail party. Like it's labeled as a massive thing. So yeah, and the reason why it's had the buildup is there because for so many years that was the deterring factor of who played in the SEC championship. Because we're from the East.
Oh, because it was East-West.
Correct. So that game kind of built up. We would play Tennessee, Kentucky early on in the year. We always bully them. Georgia would come into that game. Both teams are usually no losses at that point. So the winner of this, the stretch after that was pretty easy because then you're playing like Arkansas and Vandy and you're just rolling through those guys. And for them as well, or Mississippi State kind of would fluctuate. Every now and then we get an LSU thrown in there. But again, that if we beat Georgia, we only have one loss to a West Coast team. We still go to the SEC championship.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Is there any game on the schedule where you feel like it's a trap game where you're kind of like, I hate this game. I hate where it's at. I hate when we play it. I hate everything about it.
Yeah. I when you said that question, I was like, that's an interesting one because I love finding trap games for other teams. Like FSU, I could spot them all over the map because their schedule is so cupcake that they'll fall asleep. I don't feel like Florida, because the schedule is such a gauntlet, that there's an ability to get trapped, if that makes sense.
Fair. Yeah.
I think maybe in years past when we dominated Kentucky for so long in Tennessee, that those were games that we could have snoozed through. But I don't feel like we're in that position to where there's a trap game for us just yet.
Yeah. Because you're like, if you guys don't get up to play LSU or Texas or Georgia, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and look, the first two games are the easy ones, and I think there's going to be so much excitement to get on the football field and see what there is. I mean, the USF one, I mean, I wouldn't say, if the USF was maybe later on the year, could it be a snooze fest? But it's the second week of the year. I think they're still going to be on that high, and from there on, it's a gauntlet. It's LSU, it's Miami, it's Texas, it's Georgia, it's Mississippi State, it's Kentucky, it's Tennessee. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. No, it's brutal. It's brutal. So is there if you could have one player from college football, any player on any team on your team right now, who would you pick and why?
Some people are going to think that I was going to say Jeremiah Smith because I love Jeremiah Smith, but it's Caleb Downs. I love Caleb Downs from Ohio State. Okay. Yeah, he's a dog, man. Watching him play last year, the guy's all over the football field. It's either him or Harold Perkins. Harold Perkins' freshman year was so electric. He was supposed to be a Gator commit, last minute flip, very similar to Colin Simmons. We weren't really in it for Colin Simmons, but somebody who I liked a lot. Harold Perkins is really electric too. So one plays linebacker, one plays more of that cornerback nickel position. But I love those defensive guys that just run with their head cut off, and both of those guys embody that. I know you only asked for one, but those two.
I like it. Yeah. Hey, this is your show. I'm just facilitating.
Fair enough.
I'm just here. So, I'm just, you answer it however you want, whatever makes you feel good. So,
yeah, I love those guys. I'm again, like I said, I'm a player's guy. I'm excited to see how Perkins is going to do outside of 1 week this year. Like genuinely, like crush it, dude. Outside of week 3, like I hope you just forget that. I hope you don't show up to the game. But outside of that, I wanted to do great things and dominate. Like watching him his freshman year, I would turn on an LSU game at noon versus Arkansas. Like that, if you go back and watch that game, the game was electric. And like it was like Arkansas wasn't supposed to be anything, but it kind of got into a dogfight. And Perkins single-handedly took it over from his defensive play. Like that to me is fun to watch. And Caleb Downs is very similar.
Okay, I love it. Is there anything we should know as not Florida Gator fans that you're thinking about, that you're processing, that you were hoping would come up in this conversation, or that you're bringing to this conversation, or just like anything. Like what can you share with me? I mean, obviously Texas plays Florida this year, so I'll do like my own research and I'll be watching like in the shadows, right? Just like to see what's going on. But what are you thinking about? Like what's top of mind for you and the fan base, and just anything you want to share with people that might not know? Well, people that might be looking at Florida and be like, oh, here we go, another ACC team ranked high, ranked in the top 25. Like what is something that you know about Florida that maybe the rest of us just don't think about?
Well, I think there's no secret. I think a lot of people are kind of questioning why Florida is maybe higher that aren't looking on the inside, but we kind of talk about the trenches, how many people are coming back. You look at the ratings of the linemen, of the defensive linemen. You saw the last 6 games of the year what they're capable of. The running back room is the best it's been in a very long time. The big question mark we're us Florida fans, where there's some reserve. It's going to be on Coach Napier on what he's going to be.
I was wondering if you were going to say that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering how much last year and the progress and the recruits and the great recruiting class. And right now, like, I was just kind of wondering how people were feeling about him.
Yeah, look, I think he's definitely won a lot of people over, especially with the recruiting class. They don't doubt his evaluation. I know the fans get frustrated, especially when we lose the recruits to Texas, but they've got to understand that you guys are swimming in a pond of cash that is an endless. You guys
are we already the big bad wolves?
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. You guys have the Platinum American Express with no limit. It's unbelievable.
You're bullying Kirby. We just got here.
You're bullying Kirby. You're bullying Kirby. So. That's frustrating for some, but I mean, I think he's done a phenomenal job. I love him to death, just because what he's done and the culture that he's put together. So I'm rooting for him. But my concern last year and even going into this year is just in-game management. Has he got the pulse? Can he get a feeling of like just step on their throats kind of mentality of F the analytics? What do you feel? And that's going to be what I'm looking forward to. And I think if this team, I said it then on our show, if this team was coached by Sark or Kirby, who have a little more of a higher quality representation of going, playing the big game and making it there, this team is going to be coming as a top 5. I think Napier being the head coach is the reason for any reservation. But when you look on the paper and the talent that's there, it can hold its own. Again, you got to play the game. You got to play the game. I think that's the part that people misunderstand when people hear me talk. Like I'm not saying Florida's going to steamroll them. They have the talent. They've got the pieces to compete with anybody in the SEC. They have the talent to roll a couple of people too, but it's going to be the big ones. Can they close it down strong? And I think that's what excites me too, is with the DJ Lagway, and with what I like about Napier is the guy never gets too high or too low, so doesn't really get razzled. But
that's helpful.
Can he have a killer instinct? That's what I need to know. And Sark, I mean, I got question marks about Sark too. Like, I mean, he hasn't really showed me to be the killer. I feel like the talent
he can win games. Yeah, that's what I always say. We've pushed the boulder up the hill as far as it can go. Yeah. Now it's time for it to start rolling over a little bit.
He's close to slide in that Ryan Day category, where it's like you got all the talent in the world, you're beating everybody, but you just don't win the right one. And
we got to get over it. Exactly.
Look, that's the thing. I mean, like, people get frustrated. I'm like, Ryan Day, if we don't have a 12-team playoff, probably doesn't have a job this year. And now he's considered one of the top coaches in college football because he pushed the boulder over the hill at the most pristine time. So that's what it is. That's what Bill's got to figure out. And I think that's something that you can't really pinpoint on anybody. That's hard to find in a coach. It's hard to see that and be able to will it to happen. I mean, you have the best talent in the world, but there's a reason why only certain teams win championships. There's only one team that's happy at the end of the year. So,
and I always say too, coaches can't coach in-game positions if they're not in games. And so I can run through all the things I think would happen. But that tells me nothing about the weather, nothing about how my players are playing, nothing about what they feel, nothing about what I feel, nothing about what I think. And I think Coach Sark said it's like multiple 30-second decisions, and it's just over and over and over. And some people are really good at making 30-second decisions, and some people are not. And so I love that. Well, this is the chance before I ask if there's anything else that you wanted to share. If you have any questions that you can ask me, obviously you do not have to ask me anything. But I just wanted to open up to you. If you have any thoughts, anything you want to, I don't know anything that you want to know, or just anything, you let me know and I will answer anything that you have for me.
Yeah. What are your expectations as a Texas fan for Texas?
So I have Texas like at 10-2. I just don't know who the 2 losses are. So I
Really?
think Texas is going to beat Ohio State. I think we're going to beat Ohio State. What I don't know is what wave I'm riding with Arch. Am I riding the wave where he's going to be amazing and then have lulls and then pick us back up? Or like, I don't know what I'm getting with him. And so I'm giving his development those 2 losses, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there might be moments where we go, oh, we could have won that if just that one, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like we're growing with him, and I'm okay with that. And so for us, we have Ohio State away, we have you all away, we have Mississippi State away. And it doesn't sound like a big deal because Mississippi State's not good, but he's going to have to deal with the cowbells and the environment and the situation and being on the road. Those things matter. We have Georgia. Exactly. That could be a trap game. And I don't know what kind of quarterback I have, right? No matter what everybody said about Ewers, I knew Ewers was a gamer. Like, I knew he was a gamer. Like, I never worried if he was going to be like up and ready to go. Now, I did have to worry about turnovers and things like that, but I never worried about like if he was going to, you know what I'm keep us in the game. I never had to worry.
Ewers. I love Ewers. He never felt out of it with him. Like, again, the game was kind of sloppy at times, but he could just like all of a sudden flip the switch. Again, like you never felt out of it with him. So
right. And so is Arch that? Is he scrappy? Can he have a terrible first half and come back in the second half and light it up? I just don't know. I don't know him. And so I don't want to be like, so we're going to win this, and that. And I'm like, I don't even know who my quarterback is. Now, if you want me to put on like my he's a Manning hat, you know, I can nerd out and say 12-0, but I'm not doing that because I don't know who he is. And so I just kind of want to see what he's got going on. And
there's a lot of question marks around. I mean, not a lot, but I've said it a couple times, and Spurrier said it. It's like, look, like if this kid's supposed to be favored to win the Heisman. If that was the case, why didn't we see him last year in key moments for you guys?
I think it's a loaded question, and I've said this a couple of times in a lot of different ways, but I'll say one thing. I think sometimes the role of coaches is to put players in the best positions to be successful, not to put them out there because it might feel good and look good. I think there were moments where Sark knew what he was going to get from Ewers. I don't know if he knew what he was going to get from Arch. And I don't know if that would have set him up for success because he wasn't sure. And what if that was the moment where we really needed him and we lost because of him? How would he handle that? Or did you just ruin a guy?
But I think the thing was because you used him all year long, right? It wasn't like it would have been a surprise. Like he'd already been utilized a few times to come in and run the ball. So I would like plug him in as if he was already rocking and rolling. And if he goes in and drops the ball, like this is going to happen at some point or the other. It was more so because he was used all year long. It wasn't like it was like spotty. There seemed to be some consistency with Arch. Yeah. And then he wasn't
used in Vandy. He wasn't used in Arkansas. He wasn't used in, there's a lot of games where he wasn't used in. And so that's what I'm saying. It's kind of this up. And so again, you bring him in Georgia. Yeah, you bring him in Georgia and he gets demolished and he almost gets embarrassed and the game looks too fast and he doesn't look great. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah. And so then you bitch him and now you go back to yours. And so would you want to see him do that again if he wasn't going to look great? Like how many times do you throw a guy out there and say, hey, good luck, bro? Or do you just say, hey, we're going to go with yours here? And if we can't go with yours, then it's going to be you. But I just think sometimes we forget how bad he looked against Georgia. And I don't know if that messed with his confidence. I don't know what it was, but like, I want my players to be set up for success. And if I can withhold you and you're my superpower and now I can let you go and now it's you, I've been saying that might be Coach Sark's best coaching thing for Arch Manning. Like Arch Manning in 10 years might go, the one time Coach Sark set me on the bench reminded me like I needed to dial it. I needed to refocus. You know what I mean? So like, it's one of those football moves that I can argue it till I'm blue in the face, but I'm going to trust Sark doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess how I am with Billy too. You got to trust their decision in that moment if you trust your coach. So, look, I think I'm excited to see how he's going to do. I think the kid's got the talent. But yeah, the game's going to move quick, and that's why again people have DJ Lagway very high, and you see people getting frustrated. Like, why is DJ so high? It's like the kid came in and is basically was 6-0 when he started.
He's great.
And I get the stats don't necessarily don't match up with others, but it's the feel of the game, how he looked, how calm he looked. The game didn't look too fast for him as a true freshman to go in hostile environments to play two playoff contending teams in LSU and Ole Miss that were must-win games, and you take those guys down that were on an absolute burner with experienced quarterbacks, experienced defensive lines, and you beat them. Sure, they're at home. Those are huge. And that's what I'm excited about. But look, I think Texas has got so many great pieces around it that Arch is going to be able to overcome some of those early on. And DJ's in the same place. That's why I'm excited about Florida. Again, the trenches, everything around him is just very experienced.
That's what and I always, and I keep saying, like, the one thing that people aren't talking about with Texas is their defense, because they're so focused on Arch Manning. And I think game one, people should probably be reminded, like, oh, right. Like, these guys can play defense too. We forgot about that, like, here comes Arch. Oh, wait, the defense, so we'll see. Like, that's what I hope happens. And I hope the defense kind of carries Arch until he's ready to do whatever he's going to do.
Quinn, you didn't hear Quinn's name too often last year. I mean, they ran the ball very effectively. That Michigan game, they ran the ball very effectively. Their defense was really good. It wasn't until Quinn had to really kind of step up where you like, hey, what's going on here? But I feel like throughout the year, who was at one point was going to be a Heisman contender, kind of just, I wouldn't say fell off in a bad way, but didn't need to do anything. Was able to kind of, and that had his injury for a couple of games, but that's because of how good the rest of the team was. They could manage, they could get by without Quinn had to do anything special.
Yeah. So we'll see. And like I said, I hope everything Coach Sark did was intentional and for a reason. And I think we'll see that this year. And then everyone's always going to say, like, oh, Arch, he couldn't even beat a 7th round like, and I'm like, if that's the only argument that you have against Arch, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah, look, I think he's still an NFL quarterback for sure. Yeah, I mean, let's not
get into it. He'll be fine. Like, if that's the only thing that you're digging him on, he'll be fine.
No, I'm excited.
Yeah. Anyways, is there anything else? I will end on you. I will have all of your information in the description and the show notes. Cool. All the stuff will be in there. All the links, anything you need me to put in there, I'll put in there. And then I just want to thank you. This is our first conversation. So I just want to thank you for, like, responding to some strange woman that was texting you that wanted to talk about the Gators. So thank you for that. Yeah, I appreciate that. And then is there anything else that you want to share that you want us to know, or that anybody should know just as they watch Florida this year?
No, not really. I mean, I think we kind of talked about it. We went over everything. Watch out. We're rocking and rolling. We do go live every Wednesday at 8:35. It's more of a Gator-centric show, but we'll be live all season long talking all things college football. So if you guys want to check us out, head on over, and we appreciate it. Appreciate you having us on as well too. Thank you. This was awesome.
You are very welcome. And I will be in there most of the season, because I always watch my team's content creators that we're going to play. So I do it like, so I'll be in there throughout the season until we play you all. Anyways, I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.